All right, we are live. And before we get started, we just want to say that there's a lot going on in the world right now, and we want to wish everyone love, peace, and God. And with that, we will get started. I didn't want to talk over that intro. I love that intro. All right, guess what, everybody? Everybody who missed Michael Dean, guess what? He is back with us.
Back from
Dean, you were missed.
You were back from the purple jail. No, I was just no, I'm just joking. Michael, I heard that the podcaster got cease and desist. No, joke.
No. All right, so let's do our roll call really quickly. We got Drea Dances. Happy Saturday, first in the chat. And yes, can you believe it, Michael? It is September already.
I believe it.
We got Cassandra Bradley from the ATL, probably in the gym or headed to the gym. We got April Watson from Tampa. We got Real Line to DJ. Oh, look at you, Real Line. So I wasn't going to announce this, but since your avatar, so Real Line to DJ has the book. Hold on. This is the book, Dearly Beloved. And we're actually going to have the author with us next week. I wasn't going to announce it, but you got it on your avatar, so I appreciate that. Okay. Then we're going to have Anna B. Love this, Saturday strolls. And obviously when I see strolls, I think of strolling. We can have fun just strolling. Yes. Rocking, rolling. Oh yeah, I love that's one of my favorite songs of all time. Michael Dean,
Absolutely. Right,
top 10.
I'm not mad at that.
Love that song. So thank you, Anna B. And then we got Andre Staley. What up, though? So anybody else can fall like weather in their cities? NYC is wacky. It's like a roller coaster. Some days it's cold, some days it's hot, some days it's raining. So we don't know what season we in. And we got Christina from Minneapolis. And Christina says we got some chilly weather here in Minneapolis. We got Lisa from H-Town. We got Gabrielle. This is what I'm talking about. Gabby from Down Under. My girls are still talking about Sign of the Times, IMAX, and the Detroit Crawl. Yeah. All right. So we're going to... our timekeeper is not here yet. At least I don't see them because we're going to flip it like we did last week. We're going to talk about Sign of the Times Live because we got to hear from Michael Dean and what his experience is like. And we got Sister Charles in the house from H-Town. We got Arlene from sunny Edmonton, Canada. And we got Dorothy Edwards. Thank you so much for all the articles you've been sending me and everything. And we got Nick Belden from Denver. We got Ronald Dagley Jr. from Maryland. We got Purple Cat Confetti. And then we got Blade Brown, my literature brother. And we got a welcome back, Michael Dean. We got the Boombox Guru. We got Dr. Claw 77. Where are purple bars, Dr. Claw? And then we got Love This, Insatiable Is My Name. We got Man Ray 10 from Brooklyn. That's what I'm talking about. That's right. A lot of love from Michael Dean, as it should be. We got RTL 49. We got Chanel. My kids loved Sign of the Times. Said they were inspired. This is so incredible that you are sharing this with us, because that's what I hope that anyone who sees Prince for the first time live, because that's the closest you're going to get now, that they are inspired. So thank you so much. You just made my day, Chanel. All right. And we got TP in the house. We got Michael Parks in the house. And, okay. Purple Cat Confetti's listening mood is the Bangles and got my new floor installed. So do you mean like Prince the Bangles, Manic Monday, or the rest of the Bangles? Because like for me, whenever I think of the Bangles, I just think of Manic Monday. Because that's how I roll. And then we got Audria from the ATL. We got Karan from the Super Kindergarten Teacher. Yes.
Love it. What's up, Karan?
Yes. This is at least in New York, a lot of families and kids returning to school with their kids and everything. We got Heavenly Games. We got Miss MJ Muse. We got JD Washington in the house. It's always a pleasure to have you here. We got Vanessa.
Vanessa,
check your email. You be my best friend. And then yes, we are the new Ashford and Simpson. We got Chuck with us today. We got El DeBar with us today. We got Theo, and I can't wait for Theo to join us for 30. So what's crazy, Michael Dean, is I'm supposed to be like getting ready for 30, and when a symposium's coming up, I'm playing stuff nonstop. I'm supposed to be playing Exodus. I'm supposed to be playing the Gold Experience. I'm supposed to be playing Versace, and then like I'm just playing Sign of the Times.
right?
Play Sign of the Times. That's all I'm thinking about right now. But let's get actually before we even get into our housekeeping.
Well, we're not going to do a silent. Somebody said we asked.
That's what I don't even.
Oh man, don't get me started.
Yes. Okay, we're gonna go on tour soon. We're gonna announce the dates.
Hey, play around now.
Yeah, we are. Okay.
We'll be in there, boom, boom. There comes a time.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Yes. We went so. Oh my God. So
we are just Sign of the Times out.
Yes. This is what Sign of the Times does to you. That's what I will say. It gives you like a good vibes. It's so funny. So Michael Dean, I saw a coworker that I hadn't seen in probably a year. And he was like, "What is up with you?" He was like, "You have so much energy. The last time I saw you a year ago, you were down." I said, "I just came back from revival. I saw Sign of the Times
right?
3 times in the theater. I'm still like stoked." So we want to hear from you, Michael Dean. What was your experience like?
Got to see it. I'm kind of like big sexy when it comes to like the visuals.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to make sure to go to like a real IMAX theater. Was it like 4 or 5 stories tall? Blah blah blah. I will say this: fantastic. Like the star of the show for me, and I've seen this movie thousands of times. But the star of the show, at least watching it this way, I walked away was Sheila E.'s drums. Like,
yes,
the way they mixed that or whatever the sound, and just the sound being in a big room like that, and it was really I was just blown away, like how powerful her drums sounded. When she's playing, it was just so ridiculous in a great way. Even like the drum machines, it was just heavy drum machine sound too on that tour, but to really hear the Lend drum, boom, it's just like, I was like, wow, he was really on his beats.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just Sheila was like, again, it's nothing new, but it just really jumps out when you see it so big, how much her presence is such a part of it. I'm not to say that it overwhelms Prince, it doesn't, be clear, but it is. I forgot like how strong her presence is in that movie, and just the way that she comes across in that. And I wonder for people who don't have much knowledge of Sheila and somebody that sees this woman, I mean, she's badass in the movie, you know what I mean, like in drumming. And if you think about how hard it is to be a drummer, we take it for granted. I'm gonna go for a tangent. I was listening to the Sign of the Times live performance on the special edition box set.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think about it, but I'm listening when they're just doing whatever song, and I'm like, Prince just keeps extending it or stopping it, and I'm like, these aren't machines playing; these are people playing this stuff. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I can't imagine the discipline, the skill for all the musicians, but particularly Sheila E., to just keep on beat and to be watching him and to stop, and then they go right back into a tight groove after stopping for a second. And she's like sort of the without that beat, about the rhythm, it's just all of it is just all over the place. So she's carrying the timing of it all. I was just like, God damn, she is like so talented. I take her so much for granted. So I was just blown away seeing her on the big screen like that, really at her best. And yeah, the sound of it was incredible. The height of it was incredible. I
Yes.
was gonna say the only thing that I would nitpick it, I suppose, and this may be just my snobbery. I didn't think the picture was as good as I expected it to be, and that could be due to it just being blown up so big that it sort of loses a little bit. But some of it I thought was a little more blurrier than it needed to be. But nonetheless, I don't know. It may be different on other screens, or that may have just been the theater I was at. But other than that, I thought it was fantastic, and it was interesting. I will say the people that came to see it in the showing that I saw, it was a lot of, and I'm about 56, so I'm not that I'm not older, but there was a lot of even older people, almost seemed like elderly in there. I thought that was very interesting. Now I saw it in the Pacific Science Center, so it's not a traditional theater. So it may be a couple that may attribute to some of the different people in there. But it was interesting to see the people in there, and I was kind of ear hustling a little bit. and, when it was over, and this one lady's like, God, it was just great going down memory lane. She was just so like, they were just, they were talking about it, and I could see they were reminiscing on it. And I could see them, some of the women were obviously bringing their husbands or something with them, I could see. But I was fantastic. I think the showing, at least from my perspective, I think from a historical, archival perspective, and sort of a look back at a great musician from our generation, you couldn't have asked for a better presentation of that. And, the little ticket things that they gave out, I thought that was cool too. What a nice added touch to, they didn't have to do that, but to print up and you walk away with a little memento, like, yeah, I actually kind of went to a Prince concert, even though he's not here anymore. So I thought it was excellent. I can only hope two things: one, that they do more of these.
Yes.
And two, Film Rise, I hope that you just go on and release the 4K on disc so we can enjoy it at home as well. But yeah, it was fantastic. It was a trip. It was a trip down memory lane to be able to go. I saw that back in '87 at the theater, and here I am in my 50s. Never would have thought I was going to see this again, let alone on the IMAX.
Yes.
That's the kind of stuff we dream about. So it was excellent. As a fan, it was excellent.
Yeah, the crazy thing is, Michael, like, I didn't even dream about it. I mean, it's just like, it was like something that I didn't know that I needed, because like you, I saw it in real time. I have it on VHS. I have the original VHS. I have the original DVD. I have the Japanese Blu-ray twice. I have like the German edition. Like, I have all of and I watch it. I watch, and I've even seen it in the theater, like, like maybe a couple of years ago. But what? Okay.
Corinne, hey. Yes. Well, we were saying that back then. So I'm not. Listen.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. We won't put that on the screen. So you got to look in the corner.
Go when you get the Blu-ray before y'all are ready.
Oh my God.
But yeah, I'm exactly with you. I mean, it was fantastic, man. Fantastic.
Yeah, it was, and like going back, so we talked a lot about Sign of the Times last week, but we're going to talk about it again because it deserves this. Just like, it was such an amazing experience. And like you, Michael Dean, I've always loved Sheila E. Like, Sheila E., and I said this last week, to me, at that time, in real time, it was Prince and Sheila E. It wasn't this. Because like, as a girl, seeing how powerful and what a presence Sheila had, Sheila was everything to me back then. And hearing it on this, this IMAX, just hearing how amazing, and I get into like altercations with some of my Prince fam about Sheila's not a good drummer and all that. I think she's the baddest.
Really?
Yes. Some drummers say she can't really drum. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. But for me, she was incredible. So for me, Sheila for sure. But the other thing was seeing Kat and Prince together. Kat has always been my favorite dancer
Mm.
with Prince, but it just reaffirmed why. Like her energy was off the chain, and Prince matched her energy. And then when Bonnie's allowed to sing, Bonnie's energy matches Prince, like
Mm.
Forever in My Life. And that was like just incredible to hear and see.
Can I be a man for 1 second? This may not
Sure.
be politically so-called political. You brought up Bonnie, and when they were doing Forever in My Life, Bonnie is kind of up there. And again, I mean, it's probably because it's blown up so big, you kind of start to notice. I was like, man, and I'm being a man here, so I was like, Bonnie was thick. Like they was hiding Bonnie. It was just a different aesthetic that was kind of seen back then. But she had the big shirt on, but she had the tights with the thing down the side. And as much as they show Kat and Sheila E., what Corinne said. So I'm not, but for what Corinne brought up, and obviously beautiful, shapely women, but I think the sizing kind of was different back then. But boy, if this would have came out today, Bonnie would have been up front, black, and the bass would have been popping. Was it Hecka slamming?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, Bonnie, that's kind of hiding Bonnie, and she was blowing too. I was like, man,
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm done.
No. I think it's really important because, we don't talk about Bonnie as much as we should talk about Bonnie.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But her voice, Michael.
I mean, of course, all of that. But it's the same way to say, but Sheila E's drumming, of course. But she's showing you like, yeah, I'm a baddie now. The way they dressing, they're highlighting what God gave them. So I'm just saying, like, yeah, they were all beautiful.
Oh,
all beautiful.
Yes.
And it just, when you do get to see Bonnie blowing, all of them, man, Wally, the little way the storyline kind of tries to play out, it was cool. And I'm watching it I'm watching it after seeing it thousands of times, so I'm kind of peeping how other people were taking it, and if they're kind of chuckling or laughing, when Brooke squats down, and I was like, okay, you can see the little inklings of story or little different things they're throwing in there. I'll also say my brain, reading this Prince book that's about to come out that goes into this movie and the making of it. So it's just very interesting to see the product after sort of getting in my mind how they had to make this in such a quick manner and da 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 da. But fantastic, man.
Yeah, it really is. So, like you, we're definitely brothers and sisters. I had to pull out my Sign of Time Super Deluxe and listen to the live U-Track show.
Mm.
And what was crazy is that when I originally got the box set, and to be honest, I pulled it out like the second time I saw it, and I tried to listen to it and I couldn't because I didn't like how the audience is mixed so low in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
Versus like the Rotterdam live Sign of Times for me release, like the crowd is really, you can hear it throughout, and it just to me adds to the live vibe. But I listened to it again this morning and I was like, what am I and it finally clicked. I was like, okay, this is amazing. But I was just having trouble. So I was curious, like, what are your thoughts on when we get these live recordings from Prince? Like, where do you want that audience level in the mix? Because there's obviously pros and cons. Like, if the audience is low, you can really hear Prince. You can hear the instrumentation a little bit better than if the audience was really loud. So I'm curious what you think about that.
I think I like it when you can hear them cheering. Mm-hmm. And also if there's parts in the show where the chanting matters to what's going on, like, all right, and you bring up that. Yeah, I mean, because it just really illustrates to you, like, it's not a rehearsal or there's not some pre-recorded thing. It's like, they're playing in a stadium or, what I mean, or if that's the case, what it is, and the power of the audience. Maybe I'm agreeing. I'm saying, yeah, I love to hear them. I don't want to hear them overpowering him, but I think that's what makes it special when you start to realize you're listening to a live performance and it's lit. You know what I'm saying? It's not like they're just sitting there. where Prince's, they're cheering throughout the whole thing. He's playing back and forth with them. So I think, I mean, that's what makes it crazy powerful to me. Even watching the movie, even though some of it is simulated in terms of the audience's reception of what's going on, it still makes it heightens it up. The way it is shot, the same way like Purple Rain was shot, like you're in the audience watching it, just over their heads or something. That's a very powerful visual to play off of, what's going on. I was gonna say something else about the movie. One thing, I was listening to this same concert last night, and when Kiss comes on, I had to remember, I said, you have to take yourself back to thinking, when this concert or when this time is going, the song that is the Prince song that was the biggest hit at the time is Kiss. So if you think like, yo, all of this is sort of like either a reaction or I'm giving you something else, but the audience's mind is on a far away level, Purple Rain stuff. But the most current thing is Kiss, and like what that song meant when it came out. And so when I was hearing them and I hear them play this with that band, I was like, wow, that had to be mind blowing to hear Kiss.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the song you kind of waiting to hear, like, oh shit. And I've always listened to this with Kiss being so far in the back of my mind that I don't remember. Like, now that song is very powerful at this moment. Like that was his hit. So it's just a lot of things going on when you really take this concert into context of the time of when it was recorded. I guess that's what I was want to add.
So I wasn't going to talk about this, but you brought it up because like one of the things is, how can I say this? Like so I'm a designer by trade, Michael Dean, as you know, and there's something called studio critique, where you're trying to get things the best that it can possibly be. And I personally thought that the sound was incredible for the film. However, when it came to the visuals, which I had not talked about, I was surprised to see little black specks. And there is one, like when Prince is playing Hot Thing, that's always been there. Because I went back to my, because I rewatched it on my little screen, which paled in comparison to IMAX. And I was like, oh my God, that dot is, it's there. Why did they remove that dot? And then especially doing the cross, because it's so white, you can see like all these specks and things on the print. And because I have an eye for detail, like that's what I do professionally, it took me out of, the experience, because I was like, why didn't they fix that? But then, people say you're complaining. But the thing is, it's like you want, I think this is actually pretty important. And I think it should be preserved to the, the highest quality possible and added to the Library of Congress registry of one of the most important films of all time. That's just me. So yeah, I noticed that. And what was interesting is that the first night that I went to go see it, the sound was so amazing that I just let it go. But then the second and third time I saw it at the same place, which is the largest IMAX in New York City, which is Lincoln Center 13. And because it was so large, it kind of blew out some of the image. So I didn't notice some of the artifacts because they weren't as sharp as they were in the other theater that I saw it in. So it really depends on like what you're, how you're looking at it and what you're.
Yeah, and that's why I give it a little grace, because these theaters can vary very differently in the presentation and the quality and upkeep of the stuff that they're showing, and taking a movie this old in the way that it was shot. There's a lot of film grain in this movie, no matter what version you look at. The most, for me, when I look at it at my house, I'm playing it off the Blu-ray, and then my Blu-ray player is converting it in the 4K a little bit anyway, plus the TV. So so you can see like, yeah, there's some very grainy, but that's just the way it was shot. But I think the thing with at least when I saw it in the theater, it wasn't the grain or some of the unsharpness. It was just it was blurry at certain shots that I know when I watch it at home are crystal clear.
I know. Yep, I saw those too. Yeah,
and so it will make something like You Got the Look will even look more terrible on that big screen like that. But that's just the nature of it. But like I said, we don't know if Film Rise is using. They may have a whole different master that they're using versus the ones that are on some of these Blu-rays and DVDs that we are watching as well too. So they may be doing their own version of it. But but other than that, like I said, it was I can let it slide. In the moment of watching the movie, I don't think that even becomes that much of an issue to somebody who maybe is just seeing it for the first time or hadn't seen it in years. It may look even better to them, like better than they remember.
Right, for sure.
And it's so big, so that changes everything. Like you're like,
yeah, it was humongous, which I loved. I was like, I didn't know I needed that. Michael Dean seeing Prince like a giant.
Yeah.
And everybody.
So I didn't see it on a domed IMAX, but I did see it on a flat IMAX where the seats went down into it, like that. But yeah, so it was dope.
Yeah, for sure. So let's see. Yeah, JD said there's so much happening on stage, it's almost overwhelming. Yeah, it was really funny. It's like every time I went to go see it, I wanted to kind of look at, like, maybe fixate on one person, but I couldn't do it. I was always drawn to Prince because Prince is really hard. But so we did get a dome. So we got it from Tracy. Tracy said the dome was amazing.
Now, what if they showed it in that dome in Vegas?
Yeah.
That would be
nuts. Oh, no. And so Chip and Sparrow says, no Sign of Times IMAX in Japan, but I'm happy to hear that you talk about it. Yes, we definitely needed all of that. And I put this on here, but I think this is important. We don't know the quality of the source print. That's a really important point, Kim. And Eric D makes another really good point. It was upscaled, okay, but it was not fully restored. Say, with the care they gave, stopped making sense. Same with sound, though. It was better than the visuals. A lot of it looked fantastic, not all. But very, very minor parts. But I saw that blurriness because I was like, the blurry things that you're talking about, I was like, that wasn't in the original. So that was weird, seeing that blurriness that you're talking about. And yeah, it would be totally cool if they showed it at the Sphere in Vegas. And yeah, I don't remember. I mean, I saw it in the theater in 87, but I was so young. I was 16 years old. I don't think I even knew film quality.
Yeah, we didn't notice it back then. Yes. But there are definitely some very grainy shots. But that's just the way it was shot, And I'm not mad. Some of my favorite movies have grain when you shoot with film. That's a part of it.
Yeah,
like, I want them to take it out. That's the nature of the medium.
Sure. And I want to kind of go back to this comment that Chuck had about if the audience is mixed too low, it takes away some of the energy. Mm-hmm. And I realize that because if you would have asked me this question maybe 10 years ago or longer, I would have said, I don't want the audience because I just want to hear Prince and all, everything crystal clear. But it does change the energy of the live show by having the audience in it. So I've changed my mind on that for sure. And in terms of the outtakes, Ronald, we have it in the accompanying playlist. I put it in there last week. It's also in this week's accompanying playlist. If you go to my YouTube channel, go all the way down to the bottom. It's 4 hours long. It's very repetitive. So you really need to want to watch it, because I think Carol said that she couldn't watch it. But yeah, it definitely takes some patience, but it is there. And let's see. I wanted to speak to this because Ted hopped on for a hot second last week and said that he got kind of sad because he went to go see it by himself. And here, El Michelle is wanted to go see it with friends, but it didn't work out because it got canceled, and then ended up going by themselves. And I went by myself the third time on a Sunday morning, and the vibe was definitely different. And I was definitely sadder than when I went with a group of Prince fans. My energy changed based off of who I was with and who was in the theater. So it definitely helps if you have your purple circle with you, and that definitely changes the energy. And I really love this comment from Chuck that musicology concert would be incredible. Also, Release in theater. So many concerts would be amazing. Release in the theater again.
Yeah, I would say the thing though that makes Sign of the Times so unique is that it's shot to be a movie. You know, it's not a real concert, right?
Yeah.
And I think when you watch it versus some of the just pro shot, you know, they call them, or couple camera concerts, it's a big there is a difference because, you know, they're making a point to give the musicians close-ups in this movie, showing them do their thing. So they had to reshoot, as you see in the outtakes, you know, they're shooting those particular scenes and putting the camera in a particular place to show Prince, you know, back on his back crawling across the stage, you know, to pan that shot. And I think that's what makes it dope to me. Like it's taking a live thing, but it's shooting it like a movie. And I think it matters when you watch it, like the timing of the edit, the you know, jumping into the close-ups versus when you talk about some of these other Prince videos that are fantastic, but they don't actually play like Sign of the Times the movie does, in my opinion. Not to say it's worse, but this was made to be shown as a movie.
Yes.
You know, timing of it is made to be, you're watching a thing play out versus a concert where, you know, it's based off the vibe of the audience and what's going on. So I just think that was what makes this very different from any of those other ones. And I'd be curious to see how those play. I mean, I remember watching Musicology in the theater, and it was dope, but I felt like I think I was watching it was live, if I'm not mistaken. That was being simulcast live. So it was a different feel than watching Sign of the Times. That's all I want to say.
So I love this comment from JD. I put it up. I think it's worth repeating. Despite the occasional graininess, the video quality has stood the test of time pretty well when compared to other movies of the time. It looks phenomenal. Yeah, in my personal opinion, it has held up. And I don't want people to think that our critique of the visuals is nothing less than that, because it does look amazing.
It does. Right. But I will say,
okay,
when you see, and this is where I tested the movie at the very beginning, when it cuts into Play in the Sunshine and that sun sort of teal yellow color, that's when some of the best lighting and visuals of the movie, particularly if you watch it on like a TV that's like a newer TV, and the crispiness and the glare of the mic stands and the gold of his, you know, the shine off the gold of the rim of his glasses. When you see that in crystal clear, you really like, God, this, you know, like, wow, everything is beautiful and sharp and new. The glare of the shininess, the texture of the leather of his jacket, like that's such a visual. And what I'm trying to say is like, I think it'll blow our minds when we really get to see a lot of this older Prince footage from even some of the music videos. And we're so used to seeing, we'll realize we're used to seeing sort of muted color version representation of this. Yeah. And just the way that things are colored now, that shit would jump out the screen at us. You know, if you ever seen like the 4K Michael Jackson Thriller or something, like he looks so crazy. He looks so crazy. Like you can see the juice. And, you know what I mean? It's like, God damn, like, okay, Michael, you know, the sharpness of the leather jacket, you know, it's incredible. And I was like, God, I've never seen him look like that's what he really looked like. And I think when you see Prince, what he really looked like, when you can see it on your TV, or if you look at the Purple Rain 4K movie and you see that's what they really look like, God damn, like, wow, you know, that was the color of her lipstick. Or so I just think Sign of the Times is one of those, when you really see it, it's like, God, that's so freaking beautiful. Okay. And you'd be like, okay, I get it. I really get it.
All right.
I feel like I'm on my Celia. Okay, I'll shut
it. Okay. Our timekeeper wants us to shut up. We're going to talk about this maybe 5 minutes more, and then we're going to switch over to what did Prince do this week. And timekeeper, I did take your advice last week. I put a time marker for when we actually started What Did Prince Do This Week, but it took a while, actually. It was almost 90 minutes Michael T that we talked about, Sign of the Times.
Love it though.
It was a long time. Okay, I got to give a very special thanks and shout out to Sister Charles who sent me this. And I am so grateful that someone in like commercial media has claimed Move Over Taylor and Beyonce, Prince of Silent Times is the greatest concert film ever made. I always get into arguments with Talking Heads fans about Stop Making Sense as being the best concert film ever made. But for me, even though what Michael Dean just said is not real concert, it's complicated, it's still my favorite concert film ever made. So I was so happy that you sent this to me, Sister Charles. All right. The other thing, I don't know if anyone noticed this, but I thought this was pretty awesome. I should have caught the actual animation, but when IMAX was actually promoting this, they had like this little peace sign that would come to life in this animation. And I just love this attention to detail because we all know about the peace sign. And I think it was, I don't know if I saved this one. I guess I didn't. I think Andre was talking about how he was looking at cats' earrings and how they changed from like a peace sign to the hearts. Now, Drea Dances asked us to send in our photos going to Silent Times Live. I didn't get a lot of them, and I didn't have time to go pull them off of the internet because I'm also planning the symposium. But I'm grateful for everyone who sent them in. So I wanted to start off with Drea Dances, who saw it twice, because she wanted us to come together as a community and share our photos so that we can continue to bask in the glory and the aftermath of being able to have the honor and privilege of seeing Silent Times in IMAX, which is extraordinary to think about. So this is Drea Dances in Chicago at the AMC. It's at Naperville. And then this is also Drea Dances Thursday, AMC Oak Brook, also in Chicago. And I love everybody with their, I love Drea Dances. Your gentleman friend with you with the peach and black on. I was like, that's what I'm talking about. And we also have other shirts. And then we have Christina from Minneapolis who saw it in Edina at the AMC Southdale. Thank you so much, Christina, for sending this in. I love seeing, do you see how happy people are? Just like so happy. And then we got Robin, also known as RL49. Hopefully I did that right because sometimes my numbers, I have a bit of dyslexia when it comes to numbers and letters like that. So if I got it wrong, my apologies. And this was a roll call for Chicago again, the Regal City North. So there seems to be like a Regal camp and an AMC camp. So Michael Dean, did you go AMC or Regal?
Neither.
Oh, okay.
That's what I said. I went to actual IMAX.
You went to a real IMAX. That's right. Yes. And then we have Disco Brian Davis, who saw this in New York, if I remember correctly, because I had to remember from the last show. And yeah, so if you haven't listened to Live in Rotterdam, especially after seeing the IMAX film, I think it's really incredible to hear this. I hope that they release the full show because it sounds incredible. And also I love the audience in this for sure. And I think if you have the Silent Time Super Deluxe, now would be a really fantastic time to pull it out. I really want to watch the New Year's Eve show. I haven't had an opportunity to do that yet, but it would be really great to do that.
I watched that one about as much as I watch Sign of Times now. Like that's
yeah.
That show is crazy.
Yeah, it is. It really is. You know what I really want though? I wish would have been released on Silent Time Super Deluxe is the First Avenue show. Because there is the performance of Strange Relationship. That version of Strange Relationship is like, it's so amazing. So
if nothing else, that would have been a cold move, a shrewd purple move, Chris James, if y'all would have took the audio from that performance and took the Strange Relationship and put that moment in Atmos. Move right there.
Oh my God, Michael Dean, that would have been like mind blowing. That would have been amazing for sure. Yes.
For those of you on volume,
Yes. Yes, I love that show. It's one of my favorites. I love this from D68A. Keep finding some of my friends in Rotterdam show picks. That's so great to be able to pick people out. And Christina said, agreed. I did start listening to the Sign of Times Super Deluxe. Now, is the Sign of Times, I knew that the 1999 Super Deluxe is sold out. Like you can't get it unless you go on eBay or something. It seems like Sign of Times Live is now, sorry, Sign of Times Super Deluxe is also sold out because it's not even listed on the Prince store anymore as sold out.
Interesting. Well, it's interesting. I'm just clicking online. Walmart seems to have it, or do
do they?
I said they got 2 left.
Okay.
The vinyl version, better get it now. $325.
Yeah, you better get it now because it's not even listed. Like the state on the Prince store has a Sign of the Times page, and it's not even listed there anymore. Because normally it would say it's sold out. So if you want to get it, I guess Walmart is the place to go. And then Man Ray 10 is saying, I watch Sign of the Times New Year's Eve concert every year to close the New Year's Eve. It's become a personal tradition. That's so amazing. Love hearing that. All right, just really quickly, and then we'll be done, Timekeeper. So Michael Dean, I'm curious. So one of the things, in listening to the live show on the Super Deluxe set, you get all the other songs that are not Sign of the Times. Mm-hmm. But in the film, we still have Little Red Corvette. So I kind of like that the film actually focuses on Sign of the Times, and I can let Little Red Corvette go. But I'm curious, how do you feel about that? Not getting that full Sign of the Times show in the Sign of the Times live film, or were you okay with it being kind of like only Sign of the Times songs?
I would probably say when I first saw it, I wanted to hear more, like Strange Relationships for sure. Adore for sure. Some of those songs, Ballad of Dorothy Parker. I was like, what's going on? In my age of it today, I love it the way it is. I was thinking about this last night. I actually wish that they had kept Girls and Boys and
really
put that in the movie, only because, again, that was from the album prior to this. And that's a dope ass song. Like you don't really get to hear that live. I mean, now you can hear it live because it's been released. But back then, like when I first heard that live, I was like, yeah, what the hell? What? So I kind of felt like, man, I love that he had a throwback of Little Red Corvette. Like, yeah, okay, y'all remember this. But I think now playing it to somebody, I don't mind it reaching a little more into his catalog. Mm-hmm. So that people can, of course, this is a Sign of the Times thing, but you may not remember he did this badass song that you may have heard. You didn't know that was Prince. And so I wouldn't have been mad if he had put Girls and Boys, and hate me if I wouldn't have been mad, like I said, if they had threw Kiss in this or even When Doves Cry or something, just because the band was just dope as hell. Like no matter what they play, they killed it. So I could go either way. They could have done more of the album, or they could have done more catalog. I just think this period of Prince was so fantastic. Like you're not going to miss either way.
Yeah. So actually, hold on one second. So I thought, because I looked this up, I thought that in the Rotterdam show, where a lot of this is coming from for the film, that they actually ended with "It's Gonna Be a Beautiful Night," and the cross was before. I thought they flipped it in the film. Like I don't understand. I didn't realize was Purple Rain the last song? I don't remember. I don't think.
No, I don't believe so. Not at all. I think it was earlier in the set. I'm just going to scroll through here.
Yeah,
It's Gonna Be a Beautiful Night was the closer.
Yeah, it was the closer. So, I mean, I guess the reason why I asked that question, Michael, is because I prefer that it's just Sign of the Times focus, especially because it's, for the film. The actual concert is one thing, but for the film, I think it's great that it just focuses on Sign of the Times. And when I was listening to the Utrecht show earlier today, I actually wanted to skip Purple Rain because I just felt like it wasn't part of Sign of the Times. And I'm gonna be honest with you, like I have. I had a hard time listening to that band play Girls and Boys and all the other Revolution songs. Not because it's the Revolution, it's just because I like for the band to play the songs from their era. It's just like when I go to a Revolution show now and sometimes they play, songs from what I call the band with no name. It just, I don't know, it's a bit of a disconnect for me. Or the same with like if I go to an MPG show and, like it's just, I don't know. I just like the bands from that era to play those. That's just me.
I can feel you on that. Definitely, there's a distinctive sound difference, for sure. But I guess I would just say I think it's. I just look at this is the sound of Prince at that given time, not necessarily the sound of the band, though there is a difference based off of what you say. I agree as well. But it's just like when you go in the later years of Prince may be more on some Vegas style, but it's interesting to hear what a Vegas style Prince would do with something from the late 80s or the 90s, so they all have distinctive sounds. But yeah, there is a difference when you hear the Sign of the Times band jump into those 1999 Purple Rain tracks. Jumps out at you because it's so different, but there's such a different bands or different musicians.
Oh yeah.
Different timing, different upbringing, which is like, okay.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's bad by any means. It's definitely interesting to hear a different interpretation by a different band, for sure. Especially because they were so amazing as musicians. Like the musicianship was just.
It's like you think about the major difference that Eric leads when he comes into the picture, it changes the sound.
Yeah,
it does. He's with the Revolution, but even when he comes in there, it's a peek into, he about to go on some jazz, funked out, and it almost sounds like they're just making it, these long and complex horn arrangements. It's just like, this ain't, the other records wasn't like this. This is something totally different. And I was like, wow, okay, along for the ride. But it's so badass. Like, it's just like when you listen to is Eddie M. Isn't he playing on Possessed? Like in the Syracuse show? It's such a different sound when the horns come in on those songs. They're not on the records at all at that point. And I was like, that changes the band. I was like, oh, but it's dope. Man.
It really does. This is an interesting quote from Theo, and I probably agree, actually, that the Revolution era songs sounded better on the Love Sexy tour than on the Sign of the Times tour. But I think it's probably because they played it so much. They had already played those songs already in the Sign of the Times tour that they kind of owned them at that point for Love Sexy. That's just me. But
I can agree. But then if you go back and listen to the birthday shows at First Avenue.
Oh yes.
With the Revolution when they're playing what's that, Noon Rendezvous or or not Computer Blue. We're talking about something about my baby, something at the cafe. When they really get into that, that's the rebel. Didn't you really see the Revolution? They can vibe out like that. Shit is crazy, I don't think the Love Sexy band. They don't get down like that. But again, I haven't heard the Love Sexy band play Computer Blue either.
Yeah.
There's a good reason why we didn't.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Okay, we're gonna get it moving because I can't believe our timekeeper has given us grace, or she's left us, or she's given up. Okay, we are now.
We're going
to talk about what did Prince do this week for week 36 in 1985. And we're going week to week, not date to date. You can follow the detailed schedule at this bit.ly link or QR code. You do not need the paperback version. You can have the New Testament or the Old Testament. The new one has more updated and like 50 additional pages, but you still get a lot if you have the hardcover. And These are archived at Polish Solid on YouTube as well as at MDean on YouTube. Please subscribe, like, and help spread the word. As Pretty Ricky would say, as you come on in, just hit that like button. It would really help out with the YouTube algorithm. And I don't know, maybe it was because of the Sign of Times conversation last week, but this is the first time ever that this show has gone over 600 views. So thank you so much for all of you who hit the like button and, listen. So I really, really appreciate it. And our hashtag is WDPDTW. And if you ever want to send us anything, you can email WDPDTW@gmail.com for what did Prince do this week? Because a lot of people tell me so many different names for this. I wish I could remember some of them, but it is what did Prince do this week? That's what we're talking about. And the estate of Prince Rogers Nelson is not affiliated, associated, or connected with the What Did Prince Do This Week book club series. It is an independent endeavor. And our community guidelines are we choose to be a community. We choose to be a community, even when we disagree, because we disagree all the time. And that's totally okay, because we're just talking about songs and albums and personal preferences. We started off the show this week with That's All There Is to It by the one and only Eric Leeds, as well as Paul Peterson on their 2017 release, No Words. It was composed by Eric Leeds and Paul Peterson. These are all the players. So let's get to episode 139. I got to say thank you to everyone who's been with us for these 2.5 years so far. We so appreciate you. And I love that we are our community. And I look forward to spending my Saturdays with you every Saturday. So Prince did. Oh, no, I think that was for when we got up to 200 episodes. We had talked about the 200 episodes. And then I love this for the acronym. Wonder, did Prince do the wobble? Yes. All right. Okay. And so Rayvon is asking, sorry, Kim, did Sign of Times movie make it numbers in the box office? I don't know if it did, but I heard from two different sources that it made like $1.5 million at least.
Yeah, the first 4 days, apparently 1.5 million, based off of 377 theaters.
Thank you for that.
That's pretty good. Now, we don't know what it costs to make all this and promote it, but still, it sounds good.
Yeah. We appreciate all of your alternative names, Theo. And the one that sticks with me, which is not the best one, I got to go back, because one I like better, but Why Do People Dance This Weird is the one that sticks, but it was one that I really loved more than that, but I can't remember. Okay, so this is actually kind of good news, because we haven't had a new song in 1985 in almost a month. So we got one new song this week, and it is one of my, I played it on repeat this morning probably 20 times, if not 25 times. So I can't wait to talk about it. And then we have one studio session. Okay. So I just wanted us to look back at the August calendar and just see like the peach background ones are the ones where Prince was in the studio, and he was not in the studio a lot in August. And the black ones are either Sheila or Wendy and Lisa or Jill were in the studio doing things. And then you can see that we got 2 album releases. On the 19th, we got The Family. And then one, I didn't realize this in real time. Did you remember this, Michael Dean, in real time, that we got The Family and Romance 1600 within a week of one another?
Not at all. Yeah, not at all.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So we were like, we were getting the goods. And then we also talked about, the incredible one only First Avenue show with The Family, which was the prior week of the release of The Family. So that's what we've been doing in August, but now we're transitioning to September. And you can see that this week Prince recorded one new song called Go. And then not Winnie and Lisa, I think it was just, I can't remember. We have to do the reading. I'm all mixed up, but we did some orchestral mixes for Alexa de Paris, Venice de Milo, Do You Lie, and Splash on Thursday. Prince recorded Go on Friday in France, because he's there about to start filming On the Cherry Moon. And then on Saturday, Sheila's at Sunset Sound, doing some edits and crossfades and mixing for La Bizarre, and then the Betsy Johnson third and final draft of the Under the Cherry Moon script, I guess, was submitted to Prince. Okay, so Michael Dean, do you mind starting off with our reading? It's on Thursday, September 5th, and you can skip the quote.
All right. Prince, Susanna, and Susan Rogers were all in France by this date. And while they were gone, work on Prince's music was still being completed at Sunset Sound by Peggy Leonard. Wendy and Lisa had worked on the orchestral mixes in August. And today, from 10:30 a.m. to 5 p.m., additional mixes were created, blending Claire Fisher's orchestra with both versions of Venus de Milo, as well as Do You Lie and Alexa de Paris. Alexa de Paris is just an awesome piece of musical art. Phenomenal. The musical approach to it, reflected Brown Mark. You get deep inside the minds of the revolution and where our heads were at that time, and see how deep Prince can go with his musical ability. At the end of the session, 2 C60 cassettes were made. One of them likely went to Prince in France.
Yes.
A little song and dance, if you can.
Yes. All right. So here's the work order for that. And you can see it all written out. Alexa de Paris, Venus de Milo, Do You Lie. Just don't see Splash on here, but Splash was also worked on. And you can see at the bottom that Peggy Mack signed it. So that's really great to see. All right, we are going to move on, unless there's something you like.
Well, I would just to say, I mean, you take these three, Alexa de Paris, Venus de Milo, actually, and Do You Lie, and they're doing orchestra mixing. I mean, this is such a jump up in terms of, the ability, the musicianship, the tone of it. I mean, if you could not imagine listening to, Little Red Corvette or 1999, even Purple Rain, and then imagine it's about to go into this, in terms of the quality and just the difference of it. The texture is so different. Yeah, you wouldn't imagine like it would be that musical and it going sort of a cinematic orchestra lane for a guy who is famous for Minneapolis funk. You know what I mean? Like that's a crazy pivot or just a direction turn that most people would never do. I'm not to slight it. I was thinking last night, I was like, man, I wish I was alive. I could have saw Zapp, Troutman, and Prince together, because some of their style was very similar at that time. But Prince goes into a whole other lane, where Jesse Johnson is just keeping that Minneapolis funk going, but Prince goes into John Williams, Claire Fisher, just on some other shit, man. And it's still black, it's still funky, but it's just a different. Yeah, it's fantastic. And so for them to be doing all that in one day is just like, oof.
Like looking at this, I'm curious, like, what would Parade have been like if Alexa de Paris and Splash would have been on Parade proper?
Yeah, it would have just been even doper. I mean, yeah. I thought you was gonna say, would it have been like if Parade contained no orchestra and it was just played as almost like, it'd be like The Family or something, I guess, but without the orchestra piece. That'd be interesting.
No, I
came across it just a funk kind of thing.
It would be interesting to hear it. I just know that when I heard like Mia Boca without the orchestration, it was like it was naked or something. I was like, I can't listen to this without the orchestration. It was so sparse without the orchestration. It's like, sometimes things can be additive, meaning like, you're adding sounds, but there's something very integral to Claire Fisher's orchestrations on these songs. It's like if you remove it, I feel like it's no longer the song. It's like something else. But I do think it would be interesting to hear some of the parade songs in particular.
Or let me throw this at you. If the album was really in character and Prince only limited it to being a piano album played by Christopher Tracy,
that would have been dope.
The level of his playing at that time, which I think is his best, like that would have been, it would have been bold. That would have been something you'd expect Prince to do. We're not doing drums or just the piano on a mic. That's it.
Oh my God. So Michael Dean, I'm gonna try to keep this very short because I don't want to get hate mail. But I so agree with you that Prince's piano playing was at the apex right here, because he was just like going up and down, like the keys. And I love that. I think Scott McCullough was the one who cut it together. That clip of Quincy Jones talking about how Prince, isn't a musician or something. I can't remember what exactly he said. And it cuts together with him playing the piano, like during this time. Like,
is it during this time? I thought it was Diamonds and Pearls time.
Oh, it might be Diamonds and Pearls time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which was still fantastic.
But it was still fun. Yeah, it's still fantastic. So that this era of piano playing versus, and we're gonna go to the next slide after I say this, because
no, I'm right there. I already know what you about to do. I'm right there with you.
Instead of the official piano and the mic, just because his piano playing was different.
Yeah,
it was very different, and it was more legato, if I'm using my music theory correctly, meaning like it was more slow, versus during this particular period, parade era, he was just like really fast, playing really colorful chords on the piano. I mean, his piano playing was like, it was to die for. So yeah, I hear you, but we're gonna keep it moving. Okay. So I want to read about Go, and that's Friday, September 6, 1985. I'm not going to read the whole thing. That's hopefully you have your books. And if you don't have your book, you should make sure you get a copy. So Friday, September 6, 1985, Go tracking mix Puma Crest mobile recording unit from Advision Studios in Nice, France. Producer Prince, artist Prince, engineer Susan Rogers. And this is a Prince quote, and we know it's a Prince quote because it is bolded. Thank you, Duane Tudahl. All right, lyrics to Go. I'd rather you just walk out the door and go. I don't want to feel the pain. Prince was days away from the start of filming Under the Cherry Moon and under a great deal of pressure, which would occasionally surface as a fight to blow off steam with someone close to him. Susanna often took the brunt of the argument simply because she was staying with him, and on this occasion, it was unclear how they'd recover. This is Susan Rogers. That tussle they were going through was really ridiculous, really, really tough. It was terrible to see Susanna go through it, and I knew Prince was hurting too. Like many artists, pain is the first ingredient for their art, and Prince's frustration inspired him to seclude himself for a few hours to record Go, a composition written from the viewpoint of a man whose heart was broken by his lover's infidelity. But the depressing topic was wrapped in an infectious pop song. Infectious is really key because I could not stop playing that this morning, and it is an accompanying playlist. Prince once again used his music as his diary, giving a glimpse into his heart and struggles. Even Susanna, who made up with Prince afterward, recognized the power of the song. Love it. It's one of his great melodies and a beautiful song. I'm skipping the next 3 or 4 paragraphs, going all the way down to status. Go, 4 minutes and 48 seconds, remained unreleased during Prince's life. Now, do you remember Go, Michael Dean?
Off the top of my head, no.
Yeah. So I'm curious. I know that it was Nick Felden, I think, who said Love Go. It is in the accompanying playlist. I highly recommend that everybody and their mama listen to this song. I don't know why it wasn't released in Prince's lifetime. It is, based off of Duane's description of it, you would think, even though he says it's like kind of a uplifting pop tune, you would think it would be sad. It's not sad. But sonically, it really reminds me of the Revolution sound kind of going, Prince sound going into Purple Rain as opposed to where he is now. It reminds me, and I don't know why, of Electric Intercourse. It's not because it's the same tempo or anything like that, but it's something about it that takes me back in time versus moving forward, which we had just, Michael Dean was just talking about, of how musically Prince was like moving forward. But this to me, like with the Claire Fisher orchestrations and everything, this to me kind of harked back to a year or so ago, but I still love the tune. It's a really good tune. It's something about it. So Duane was correct when he wrote infectious. It's like once you start playing it, you can't stop playing it. And I really wish that it was released. There still can be, I guess, like a Purple Rain Super Deluxe, because we got the Purple Rain Deluxe, but we didn't necessarily get a Purple Rain Super Deluxe. So I don't know where this would go. I guess it would have to go on Around the World in a Day, but it doesn't sound like Around the World in a Day. It sounds more like Purple Rain. So I don't know. So
I was just listening a little bit of it as you're talking. Somehow that song skipped past me. I don't remember hearing that.
Yeah.
I've seen the title, but I don't think I had to listen to that deeply.
Yeah, so go listen to it and come back next week because I'm really curious to know how you feel about it. All right, so let's move on to our next date, which is Saturday, September 7th. Michael Dean, will you do the honors?
All right, Love Bazaar, edit, crossfades, and mix, Sunset Sound Studio.ra, 9 p.m. to 11:45 a.m. That was one of them sessions.
Yes. And this is for edits, crossfades, and mixes.
Okay. Book 6 p.m. open. Producer Sheila E. Artist Sheila E. Engineer Peggy Mac Leonard. Assistant engineer Mike Colster.
Okay.
All right. An edit of Sheila's Love Bazaar was done during this brief session. It is likely because of changes Prince recommended based on the previous remix. A single C60 cassette was created and shipped to him in France.
Yeah, I don't think this is a brief session though. 9 p.m. to 11. Let's actually
look to them. That's what they think of as brief. So that's scary. Like,
yeah. So I actually do have the work order. So let's look at this a little bit closer. So, so there is waiting from 6 to 9, which is in the book, and then it says the crossfading and mixing happened from 9 to 11:30 p.m. And then there was I can't read what that says. Copies. Yeah, thank you. Copies from 11:30 to 11:45. So our 2 C60 cassettes. And then it says, oh, so maybe this should say 11:45 p.m. maybe in the book. Maybe it's a typo, Duane, because I know you look at this sometimes. Yeah, that makes more sense.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Okay.
It's funny though because it's not something that happens now, but when they're making these copy, this all in real time. Like, oh, you want a copy? Okay, the song is 12 minutes. Sit here for 12 minutes. Make a copy. You want another copy? All right, 12 minutes. And it's like, yeah, you got to pay for that.
I love this comment from Heavenly Gaines. It says,
we got to keep some funk going, visuals going in the back now.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, we're going to read our final entry for this week from Duane, and that is another Saturday entry for September 7th, and it says Becky Johnston's third and final draft of Under the Cherry Moon is completed. The movie was scheduled to start shooting in slightly more than a week, so pre-production was in full gear, and Mary Lambert was working hard to accommodate Prince's vision, Mary Lambert being the original director of Under the Cherry Moon. So we're about to start talking about Under the Cherry Moon. I can't wait. All right. So let's so far in 1985, Prince has done 52 new songs, 77 studio sessions, if I did my math correctly, but that's the reason why we have the asterisks going on. And You can see, again, the last time Prince tracked a song was on August 10th, 1985. So it's been a long time since Prince has been in the studio because he's, as you can see from previous months, he's usually in there a lot. And then if you look at August alone, you'll see he was only there for 3 studio sessions, versus like 10 in July. So that is really rare for Prince not to be in studio all the time. Okay, really quickly. Nicolay is a huge Prince fan. For those of you who don't know who Nicolay is, he's part of the foreign exchange. If you know anything about the foreign exchange and Fonte, little brother and all that. But this is Nicolay's latest album. And if you haven't heard it, I highly recommend that you listen to it. You can listen to it with the vocals or with instrumentals, but he's finally releasing this on vinyl. So I'm so excited, but you can listen to it on any platform that is streaming. So you want to make sure that we support our Purple fam. And Nicolay is one of my favorite producers of all time. And I have, whenever he put this album out, sometimes last year, it has not left my rotation at all. I love this album. And he takes a very similar approach to Connected. If you love the Foreign Exchange Connected album, and a lot of the Foreign Exchange releases where they have different vocalists, but this is a case where I think almost every song is sung by a different vocalist. It might be one person who repeats, but I think they're all different. So definitely check it out. I put one of my favorite songs in the company playlist. I just was scrolling on Instagram, which is very rare for me, and I see that Corey Henry has a new album out, a new gospel album out. So I haven't had an opportunity to listen to it, but you can tell that it's gospel because it's Divine Time, and he's been into his Sunday performances. So please support Corey Henry. And then we've already talked about Corey Henry is actually going to be in Minneapolis on September 15th, very, very soon at the Ice House, alongside Stokely from Mint Condition, Rick from Mint Condition, a lot of the Mint Condition folks, as well as one of my favorite drummers, Chris Daddy Dave. And then Bilal is on, right, if you've never seen Bilal, or even if you've seen Bilal right now is on fire. Like, I don't know, the Holy Spirit has entered his body. Like, this is like one of the best tours he has ever done. And he's given some amazing tours. This is the time to see him, particularly if you've never seen him before. I'm going to Philly just to see him because he's not coming to New York City anytime soon, but he's going to be in Long Beach, I think next week on the 12th and 13th. Philly, 18th, Annapolis, is that on the 19th, Cincinnati, the 20th, Pittsburgh, 21st, North Carolina, 4th, and Seattle, October 14th. And remember, he's doing that free event too. So I guess he's putting in a paid show and a free show at the same time. Then he's also going to tour in Europe, which is amazing. So you have all of those dates over there for Europe. And then we talked about Vernon Reid coming to the Blue Note on September 24th. And this is the free event where Bilal will be performing in Seattle on October 4th. And then this is what I am stoked for. So for those of you who don't know about this amazing album by Don Blackman, they're doing a Don Blackman tribute at City Winery, New York City on October 17th, featuring Bilal. So you know I'm there. That's all I needed. Just Bilal. But you also got members of Living Color. You got Chris Robb, another one of our Purple fam, and so many more people. So this is going to be a do not miss, especially if you've heard the album. I'm going to add that to the playlist because it's not in the playlist. If you have not heard this album, you have not lived. It is one of the most amazing albums of all time. So I'm
very a Black People's House iconic picture. Album cover.
Yes.
Seeing that a lot.
Yes. But Michael Dean, if you haven't listened to this or you haven't listened to it in a while, do your ears a favor and listen to this. This is incredible. Yes. And then my beloved Alice Smith is coming to Chicago. So all my Chi-Town people, I hope that you'll go and represent. You will have the most amazing time if you go see Alice Smith live. Trust me. And that is November 2nd. If I had made different life choices, I would be flying to Chicago to see Alice Smith, but I did not make those life choices. Okay. Now, I know Kim, I just want to say, Kim, I so congratulate you for going to the show. I knew it was going to be epic, but to see the video footage that you posted of Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis and Jerome.
Jimmy Jam.
It was so amazing. Oh my God. So Vanessa said that they yes, bought that album back in the day. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Don't sleep on this album. Don't sleep on it. If you love funk, this is the one for you. All right. So yes, Nick Feldon, that's what I'm talking about. Has that Don Blackman album. Yes. Yeah, I think yeah, actually it's still on Facebook, I think. Or on Chris Rob's YouTube channel. And Kim says has more. So I just want to say I'm so happy that you went. And I'm sure you had an amazing time. And then for those of us who are in New York City, Jimmy Jam is actually going to have a conversation at the City Winery on September 26th. So that's very exciting. And we are on counting down to, I can't believe we're only 13 days away from, I got to get into the gold experience. I'm so in sign times right now. I got to get into the gold experience in Exodus. So 13 days away, we're going to be September 20th and 21st, Saturday and Sunday. We'll talk more about it next week. But I want to announce our very special guest. You're the first to hear it here at What Did Prince Do This Week. We're going to have Michael Van Huffel, who is one of the artists / designers from this era. So we're going to talk about and get, I have a degree in graphic design, so it might get a little nerdy. My apologies, but I just couldn't resist. I love like the collage, and I love this entire era. And when it comes to visuals, and also, so this is one of our keynote speakers for the event, and our second keynote speaker for the event is Mr. Morris Hayes, and I am so grateful that he can talk to us about all things of this era, including the tours. Which so I can't wait to talk about the endorphin machine if you've seen that tour. So I'm so very, very, very excited that both Michael Van Huffel and Morris Hayes will be joining us for our 30 virtual symposium. Okay. So, yeah, very excited. Yeah, we're gonna, yes, thank you, Theo. Thank you, Christina. And we got, thank you, Theo. Can't wait. I know if someone's looking forward to this, Theo is, and I'm doing this for you, Theo. You're the person that I think of when I need to get my energy up. I was like, I gotta do this for Theo. And then we got Drea Dances. So looking forward to the symposium. We got a yay. And I love, okay, see Lee in the chat, Mr. Hayes, HBCU product. That's right. And yes, we're very excited about Mr. Hayes. Yes. And Kim Glenn playing the bed in the Dolphin video. Yes, indeed. All right. So I'm very excited about our special guests. And I'm glad to see that you are too. So we can shift our energy to the 30th anniversary of the Gold Experience, MBG's Exodus, and so on and so forth, because a lot happened during this time. Okay, we're coming to the end. How we're doing on time? Oh, look at us, timekeeper. We're like almost gonna do it in 90 minutes, which is so rare. Okay. Oh, thank you, Theo. Let me go back. Thanks, Theo. We got everyone, please register for the 30 virtual symposium if you haven't yet. You do not want to miss it. That's right, Theo. I'm so excited about announcing our special guest that I didn't do the proper. Yes, and you got the QR code there as well. And you can also get to the registration and everything through polishedsolid.com. Let me go. Well, or you can do the bit.ly link here. You can see polishedsolid.com and the flyer that Reverend lovingly created. Like, this is, every time I look at it, it's so beautiful. It really is. Or you can get to it through the bit.ly 30 link. Yes. Yes, the Boombox Guru Exodus is a classic. It is very underrated. Yes. Yes. I know you did. Thank you so much, Jason, for sending that photo for me.
What up, Jason?
Yeah, what up, Jason? It's just, as you know, it's really hard to balance two different things, actually three different things, because I have a writing deadline for a Prince article. So I'm doing the best I can. And then let's see, Todd Starr said, my brother did a tribute show featuring Bilal back in 2015 called Dearly Beloved. He just did another show featuring Yazara. Yeah, so Yazara actually is incredible if you've never seen Yazara. And Yazara actually performs a lot with foreign exchange, going back to Nicolay and Fonte. Yes.
Yazara was the very first interview I ever did.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Met her in DC when I was out there one time with some other people. We all had a great weekend, and for whatever reason, she came to Seattle to do a show or something. Came to the office, chopped it up. That was great. I don't know where the interview is at, but that was the first one.
Yeah. Oh, we got to talk about that one day. I've been thinking a lot, Michael Dean, about archives and digital archives in particular, and, backups of your backups. And let's see. Thank you so much. Joyce said that. Okay, hold on one second. Let me see if I can do this. Hold on. I'm going to try to share something.
Joy.
Can I do this? No, hold on. Wow.
While she's getting it together.
Thank you.
I don't know what I was going to say. There comes a time, sing along, every podcaster's life. They get tired of
when they can't find an image file.
Doing a live show. 3 Rings Circus.
Okay.
All right.
Let's see. Oh, yeah. It didn't do what it was supposed to do. Oh my God. Okay. Let's see what happens when that happens. Okay. Image.
Love it. Love it.
There you go. Okay.
Jerome.
Yes. So there's Jason and Jerome with his flight time hat on.
What's up?
Everything. Okay.
Minneapolis meets Atlanta.
Yeah. All right. And let's see. View chat. Oh, okay.
Well, if Jason probably would have, this was back in the 80s, boy, probably would, man, that'd have been something crazy. Like, and them brothers was like larger than life.
Yes.
I mean, not to say they're not now. I'm just saying, like, man, I know that was a long time coming to get to do
that. Okay. All right. I'm learning how to use StreamYard for the first time. Okay. So we're at the end of our show today, but we still want to give peace and love to Dr. Funkenberry. So you want to contribute to his GoFundMe if you can, and if you can't, send some positive vibes and reach out to him and let him know that he is loved. And the same for Addie Durant, who was very pivotal to the Clubhouse performance of Purple Rain. And if you haven't heard that, I highly recommend that you listen to it. It was all fan done. And I was truly blown away by what they were able to accomplish. And so you want to support Addie as well with their GoFundMe and send kind words. And then we also have a GoFundMe for Des Dickerson. So we want to support Des, obviously, and everyone should know who Des Dickerson is. And this is the company playlist. We've talked about it a lot. I was meaning to do this last week, but we talked about Silent Times Live for so long that I just didn't. But on my heart, I was like, I just can't let this go by. I just got to say Chadwick Boseman forever, because it was the anniversary of his passing last week. So just wanted to say that. And with that being said, Michael Dean, do you want to take us out?
And I feel like this went by too fast, but it is what it is. Man, great to be back. Great to continue talking about Prince. Just so appreciative of Sign of the Times coming out. I feel real good to see that in the theater. Feel good to see people enjoying it. Salute to everybody in the chat for making this show great and leaving your comments and suggestions and just everything. Salute to D'Angela. Salute to Sealy. Not sure where he's at today, but blessings. Ricky. Shout out to you say he's at the game or something.
Yeah.
I was at the game. Salute to Ricky and to just everybody in the community working like a job.
Peace.
Yeah.